Okay, everybody, welcome to this discussion, The Lie of Jews and High IQs. Let's put this one to rest once and for all. Jews have long been known for, among other things, having a very inflated view of themselves, believing themselves to be superior to all other groups, to Gentiles altogether. And how could it be otherwise when all of their holy books constantly remind them that they're chosen, they're special, they're favored? So naturally, across the board, they're going to develop and have developed this idea that they're better than everyone else. Let's look particularly at this idea of high IQs for Jews. Is there any truth to it? They certainly managed to convince themselves and even a great many Gentiles through their propaganda that they have intellectual superiority. One of the ways that they have suckered so many into actually believing this bullshit is through the Bible, of course, and its claim that they're chosen by God. So when they cite their phony statistics and show how successful they are in the business world, they're successful because they're fucking sleazebags that rip people off constantly through trickery. You don't need intelligence for that. You just need a lack of a fucking conscience. But anyways, they'll cite shit like that and convince people. And then they'll wave the Bible at them. Well, this is because God shows us we have a special mission, blah, 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 blah. Another way has been to convince other people, even their own selves, that they do in fact have higher IQs. They'll fix the numbers so it looks that way, and people become convinced of it, when in fact, if they actually looked more carefully at the data, they'd see that that's actually not the case. Beginning right in the Torah itself, the Jewish God was depicted as pumping the Jewish ego with the notion of their alleged superiority. We find this, for example, in Deuteronomy chapter 7, starting with verse 8, where Yahweh says, "You are a holy people who belong to the Lord your God. He has chosen you above all the people on earth to be his very own. The Lord did not care for you and choose you because there were many of you. You are the smallest nation of all." So he's saying, I didn't pick you as my favorites because you were the largest group. You're the smallest of all. But the Lord chose you because he loved you. Oh, because there's so much like him. Mass murdering fucking psychopaths who steal and pillage everything in their path. Yeah, that's how he's portrayed in the Bible, the Yahweh character. So naturally, this character would love them, right? Favor them the most. They're just as sleazy as he is with no conscience. And he kept his promise to your ancestors, he says. So he brought you out of Egypt by his great power and freed you from the hand of slavery. Right. From the power of the king of Egypt. Right. But anyways, there's this idea of superiority, right? Further along this line, in chapter 14, verse 2 of Deuteronomy, Yahweh tells his little pets, quote, "For you are a people holy to the Lord your God. Out of all the peoples on the face of the earth, the Lord has chosen you to be his treasured possession." Oh, how special, how quaint. But, this is the kind of shit they pump themselves with and get a lot of goyim pumped up with to think that there's something unique and special about them. We find this same arrogance, of course, displayed in the New Testament as well. Paul wrote in 1 Thessalonians 4, verse 5, "Do not act in passionate lust like the Gentiles who do not know God." So it's only Gentiles who act in passionate lust, but not the Jews. They're special. They're favored. Funny, this is the guy who said that in Christ we're all one now. There's no more Jew, no more Greek. And yet he still talked like this, didn't he? What a Fucking phony little bastard. Jewish supremacist prick. Listen to this shit echoed by Paul in Galatians chapter 2, verse 14. He says, when I saw that they were not acting in line with the truth of the gospel, I said to Cephas, or Peter, in front of them all, you are a Jew, yet you act like a Gentile and not like a Jew. Do you really think Paul considered Gentiles and Jews equal? We're all one in Christ now. There's no Jew, there's no Greek. And yet he talked like this? He rebuked Peter in front of the crowd and said, you're a Jew, but you don't act like one. You act like an inferior Gentile. You don't act like a Jew who's supposed to be above these things. Wow. Addressing his Gentile audience, Paul further said in Ephesians 2, verse 12, remember that at the time before your conversion, you were separate from Christ, excluded from citizenship in Israel, and foreigners to the covenants of the promise, without hope and without God in the world. When you were Gentiles, you didn't have any of these things. You didn't have hope. You didn't have God. But now that you have converted to Christ, you have become what? A citizen of Israel. You're not foreigners now to the covenant of promise. You're not without hope and not without God. But formerly, when you were Gentiles,